Welcome to Tapped In. My name is Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be talking about sweeping principles. This is going to be a bit abstract, so I'm hoping that I can explain this well enough. When I was teaching stand-up earlier this year, I put little circles on the mat to kind of reflect where a person's base was off. For example, if we can picture someone's feet side by side, parallel to one another. I discussed it as the apex of the triangle. So if you can draw a line between left foot and right foot, and then draw a point from there forward, that would be the apex of their base. So they're really strong side by side, left and right. But if I pull them forward towards the apex of the triangle, they're weak. Same can be said if we decide to push them backwards. It's mirrored on both ends. Then we'll have, let's say someone is staggered. They have, which is more common, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, kind of like a fighter stance, a wrestler stance, however you want to explain it. Their apex is now no longer forward and back. They have a foot forward that can counteract anything that you pull with. They have a foot backwards, counteracting any pushing motion that you might have. But if you drew a line between those feet and then you drew a triangle off to your right, you would see the apex, and then you would see the apex to their left, to your left. One would be forward towards you a bit, but off. And then one would be backwards, but angled. Those are your apexes of where you want to then sweep people or pull them for a throw or push them for a trip, however you want to describe it. Those positions determine the possibilities of what your sweeps can do. A guard is typically feet on the outside, feet on the inside, or legs on the inside. And sometimes, like De La Riva, one outside, one inside. If you have no contact whatsoever, there's no sweep possibility. You need some kind of contact. If you have, let's say we're an open guard, I'm on my back, and I have collar sleeve, but my feet aren't in play, there's no sweep whatsoever. If I'm sitting up and my opponent is standing over me, let's say their left foot is forward, their right foot is back, staggered, and I have my left hand in their collar. Pulling them towards me is of no use. Pushing them backwards is of no use. But what's readily available is a collar sleeve because it's angled to the outside. There's no base of support on that side. Additionally, what's really useful in that position, the one that I just described specifically, is sometimes ankle pick. So because the collar sleeve is pulling to my left, if I have my left hand in their collar, it's pulling to my left naturally. Sometimes I like to yank to force them to counter and want to settle their weight backwards, which then allows me to sit up and take the ankle in the opposite direction of the collar sleeve or of the collar pull. These are apex. These are triangles that are being set regardless of whether we are standing and we're doing judo or wrestling or any form of takedowns, or if we're doing sweeps and wrestling up. Once we understand like the little triangles that our body makes, or our opponent specifically, we can then decide how we're going to attack. So your positioning and their position are vastly important, are incredibly important in all this. The leverage that's implied based on their footing is going to be massive. Another example is, let's say their feet are shoulder width apart, side by side. What I like, a simple sweep that I like to hit is if I'm sitting up, I hook both legs behind, both of my feet, behind their ankles, and I just shove them back. I either C-grip their shins or knees, and I literally just shove them back. It's the dumbest fucking sweep ever. We call it the dummy sweep. And I hit it so regularly, and it's so stupid that most people laugh on the way down. It's a given. It's going to happen. Another sweep that we'll kind of see often is balloon sweeps or over the head sweeps. I think you could put butterfly guard in that same kind of realm. Both feet are inside or both feet are on the hips. And because my hips are so far under your hips, then I can lift you easily. And where's the apex at that point? If I got both butterflies in or I got both feet on your hips, it is the same as if you are staggered shoulder width apart. I can take you over my head because that's where the apex of the triangle is. Or in some ways, let's say we do, what is that sweep called? When you're in closed guard and you drop down and you grab both ankles and you just shove them back. I don't remember what that's called. That would be the opposite of the butterfly sweep overhead. And I can now push you all the way back. There's no base back there. It's the apex of your triangle, and you literally don't have anything to post with. These are the things I kind of want people to start thinking. Think less of the specifics of a sweep. Like I got to do step 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then finally sweep. Those are important based on specific sweeps, yes. But really what we want to start to really understand is where's the void in their stance? Where's the void in the way they're sitting? Where's the void in the way that maybe they have one knee down? And then take advantage of that. One of my favorites, and as I explained, anytime I could get an ankle pick is the good day for me. I don't mean ankle pick from like standing, even though that feels great. If an opponent is standing in front of me and if opponent is kneeling in front of me, they have one knee down, 1 foot up, 1 knee up, I'm ankle picking you all day. I will often maybe have the collar, or maybe I don't even have a collar. Maybe it's no-gi. And they have that foot up. I'm launching forward for the foot, bracing against the chest and making them fall backwards. Because again, the base is structured in a way that once I take that away and I start pushing a certain way, you're going to fall because you don't have any base on the opposite side. Start looking at their stances. What makes that stance strong? And in what opposite angles makes it weak? And attack those areas. It's not as complicated as we sometimes make it to be. Because there's times when people are kneeling in front of me, and all I have to really do is just push them backwards because the base is off. Or their stance is a certain way where I'm taking advantage of the void. One of the strongest voids that you can attack is the collar drag. Same with arm drag. Their base is in such a way that when you do either one of those, it's pulling them into an empty space and they can't respond as well as they would like. So start considering the stances, start considering the voids, and then start considering, once you get a little understanding of both of those things, start then to consider kazushi. And kazushi is one of those things where you are creating a movement that creates something, some kind of a reaction in your opponent, and then you can respond to it. The kazushi can be used in a sweep. It can be used in a attempt for a submission. It can be used in a way like sometimes you can feint your way into a kazushi. Let's say we're both standing and I feint towards the legs and you throw your legs back and try to sprawl too early and I'm not there. It's a form of kazushi. Let's say we're in half, I'm in bottom half, and I use my knee shield to kick you to my right. That's kazushi, because now you have to readapt and move yourself back. And as you move yourself back, I can take advantage of that. A good one that I love to use is the John Wayne sweep, which one of my students says doesn't actually exist, only because he's bad at it. Sometimes we're in half. I'm on my right side. I will use my knee shield to kick them to my right. And because the balance is off, they're never going to fall. But the balance is off, they have to readjust. And as they readjust, the weight comes back. And oftentimes students don't settle immediately in the middle. They sometimes, because it's such a knee-jerk reaction, they settle a little past the midline point. So when they do that and I can feel them coming back with speed and intent, you're never going to hit the brakes right on the dot. So when they come back, I hit them with the John Wayne sweep, which the form of my form with the John Wayne sweep as I make that reaction, plus their response to try to come back, create an even bigger sense of movement. And I take the sweep really easily. Another one I like is sometimes same position, I'll kick them to the right. And because they're trying to come back, the elbow starts to fade from the rib cage, and I can dig for an underhook really easily. So these are the things that I like. Anything that you want, don't make that the priority movement. If I want that, when we're talking about Kazushi, if I want A, I actually want to start with B. So again, if I want John Wayne sweep and they're sitting in my half guard and they're based out wide and they're settled in that position and their base is really good, I'm not going to hit a John Wayne sweep off of that. The base is too good. But if I can kick it to the right and force them to want to come back, then I can use that momentum against them. That's the Kazushi aspect of this. And in order for it to work, you really need something else to be set up first. And again, anytime I want a specific reaction from an opponent, I hit them with the thing that I don't actually want. I don't want you, let's say if we're doing the dummy sweep that I described earlier, both of my feet will come in behind the ankles. They're standing shoulder width apart. If I just tap the shins and the knees right away, nothing really happens because their weight is distributed in such a way that they're solid. Now, if I grab a hand or I grab the collars and I like jerk them forward just slightly, the weight comes to the toes. So now they're positioned a little further ahead than they want to be. So then they immediately want to pull back the weight. So they settle their hips backwards a little bit, transitioning the weight from the toes back to the heels, but it never stops right where it needs to stop. So as they're transitioning back, that's when I push on the knees and the shins and they collapse backwards. So consider Kazushi almost like playing poker. You're setting someone up for something that they don't want, but they're not thinking about because they're thinking about the immediate threat. So some close takeaways, some closing takeaways. Stop forcing sweeps. Start setting them up. If you want to hit that sweep, again, don't hit that sweep right off the bat. Start messing with some other things. Mess with their balance. Mess with some grips to make them think about something else. Look for posture breaks. Compromise their base. Get them off balance. Use that Kazushi. And again, Kazushi doesn't have to be necessarily weight-based. Sometimes it's I grab something so that they can try to grab or break the grip, and then I grab that. There's a reaction that I'm creating based on my own initial response. And remember, a good sweep doesn't just reverse the position, it breaks the entire structure around it. So when you can get these sweeps, it's psychological. There's times when I get a sweep and my partner will groan or they'll curse. Oh, fuck. And once I get to that top position, now we get to apply weight. We get to pay him back a little bit. We get to have some fun. And if you can hit a sweep, especially one that you hit often and they know it's coming, there's nothing better. Especially that dummy sweep. That thing's the stupidest thing on the planet. The dumbest sweep ever. I hit that shit and people start laughing before they hit the ground. Or they curse at me. One of the two. In either way, I'm getting on top and it's the most effortless shit on the planet. So start thinking about the voids, Kazushi, setting things up with patience. Don't force things that aren't there. Sweeping is really about sleight of hand and being almost like a magician. Any questions, please hit me up. Also, if you're interested in this type of content, continue to follow. Please share. Please comment. Reach out. And I would highly recommend signing up for BJJ Mental Models Premium. I have it. I actually pay for it. That man does not give me a discount for it. We can joke about that later. Use Figueroa-Martinez, all one word, FIGUEROA Martinez, and get a discount. Again, it's one of the best platforms, probably the best platform for jiu-jitsu approach and mental aspects, things that you can consider as you train. They have interviews with some of the top stars in jiu-jitsu and some of the most lesser known people. I've been on it twice. So I highly recommend it. Try it out. They also have a Discord, which is a huge asset. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, hit me up on dfm.2099 or dfmcoaching.com. I'm always available for questions. Thank you so much.